With a yo-ho-ho, it's Tale of the Toaster. Welcome to yet another thumbnail recap in the INAZUMA 11 Let's Plays. It's not even been that long since I did the one on Chronostones, but somehow we're here again, and this time revisiting the very first Let's Play. But I wanted to do this for a particular reason, because as is well documented in various videos on this channel, I did not make the thumbnails for INAZUMA 11.1 for the most part, or at least I made a few and they were rubbish, so I got my friend to do the rest of them. And that friend is TXM-Tom Spoors. How we doing?
What's up, mate? How you doing?
Couldn't be merrier.
That's good to hear.
I think it's great to just kind of kick back and talk about this stuff, because you doing these thumbnails was how we became friends in the first place.
Yeah.
We were just talking on Discord, and I was like, my thumbnails for INAZUMA 11.1 are pretty bad. It would be a shame if somebody redid them. No, I was saying, like, I should probably redo them at some point. And this utter madman just does them all.
All in a day's
42. Work. In the space of 24 hours. So, yeah, we knew we were going to be keeping this guy around from that point, and he's just as much of a nutter now, as he's on like 850 subscribers and doing charity streams raising over £1,700 for protecting an endangered species of gorilla. So, we, the Cross River Gorilla, of course.
Yeah, get it right, of course, Tale.
Yeah, it's important to rep the Cross River Gorilla Project, but what we're here for is to talk about these thumbnails. Yeah. However, part one, I'm not sure we're opening on the best note with this one, funnily enough. It just, through no fault of your own, the Nintendo DS does not have the best screen resolution.
Oh my god, like looking at this, like there was a moment where I was like, wait, I made this? And like,
yeah, this one wasn't mine, I'm afraid, Chief. This was your second attempt as well. You made a first one, and I wasn't too happy with it.
It just, none of it's, like, placed in the right place. Like, okay, so for reference, I made this I made these thumbnails, what, 4 years ago? And that would have been when I was, like, I think I've done about, like, 2 years of graphics design at this point. And this is, like, looking at this, like, this is abysmal. I didn't know what a drop shadow was at this point.
And this is still public, by the way, on a video with 94,000 views.
Tale, you're genuinely going to make me want to remake all 40 of these thumbnails again in the span of a day.
Just the first one, maybe. Well, we'll see if there's any other stinkers down the line, but we'll move on from part one, because maybe that's going to change in the future. For now, part two is a lot better.
There's a joke here that I don't remember, because I did this very intentionally, and I remember going in this is such a good idea, and I can't remember what the joke was. What's the title of this video?
It's Chaos at Ryman. Oh, I don't know the titles. Maybe you could get those up on a browser in the background and remind me.
Let me find it.
While we're going along.
Because I'm sure there's a joke here. Like, I wouldn't have done this if there wasn't, like, some secret attempt at humor. I think, no, I know exactly. This was my original plan for this video. Was for this thumbnail was to have emojis in it, and I asked you, how do you feel about memes and emojis? And you said, yes, memes, no emojis. And then I was like, damn, guess I can't.
And then years later, my bylong debut in Chronostones infested with heart eyes emojis. Oh dear.
So yeah, the title for this is just getting the team together. So there's nothing there that's giving me a clue. What even is it in the club room?
It's just an explosion.
Is it like Fire Tornado? Is it being like used on the bullies?
Like, I didn't get the context, but it just made me laugh. Like, this is INAZUMA 11, here's the club room blowing up, why not? You put yourself on a good record with that one. But I guess we better move on, because part 3 was one that I made. So, to give the full story, all of the original thumbnails that I did, they mostly look like this on-screen graphic, just the official art of the INAZUMA 1 with a number in the middle, and that was it. Almost all of them look the same, and those are the ones that Tom changed. But I did at least put a tiny bit of effort in for the actual matches, and part 3 here, Royal Academy, was the first one. This might have been a Tom one, but I think it was me. So I made pretty much a thumbnail for all the matches.
Go back to number 2. Go back to number 2 real quick. Okay, yeah. That one was a U one. You know what? You know how you can tell. You know how you can tell that number 3 was a U one, because you haven't fully cut out. You haven't fully erased the white on the logo.
Well, there we go then. So, a basic picture of Royal Academy by Tale of the Toaster. There you go. Art at its purest form.
It's like the graphic design is my passion meme.
But we'll have a look at part 4, because there's actually 2 to show off here.
Okay.
So I rate you as a graphic designer, right, Tom? And your thumbnails for this series were one of the most great things I was most grateful for in this world, to be honest. They helped me out a ton.
What is this?
This was one example where I showed you up. This was your part 4, with the most blurred image of Axel Blaze
The DS
humanly
graphics.
imaginable.
The DS graphics. Oh my god.
So I decided to outdo you with this one, and I changed it to this, which still looks blurry because it's still a DS cutscene, but it's at least better.
Yeah, but Tail, the logo.
The logo. Yep. Neither of us knew what Drop Shadow was. This is going.
No,
back
it's
eons.
the white. It's the white there, Tail. Oh,
I didn't even know it was there until today, but here we are. We both suck. So let's look at part 5 instead. This was all your idea.
My masterpiece. I definitely.
I have no words.
The thing that got me through making all 40 in a day was having fun, having so much fun with it, and just going mad essentially. And this is one example of going mad. This is
truly the first, maybe the second if you include the exploding club room, but this was off the rails.
This was interesting. He's just flexing. I mean, there's no context behind this. I think it's an episode of Kevin training for Dragon Crash. So I guess that's why I went with a muscular Kevin.
Do you even know who it is in the background?
I have no idea.
Am I going to get sued one day for including someone's likeness? Well, we'll get that off the screen then and take a look at part 6. I mean, that is what it is. I think this was Inazuma Kids FC, and that was your choice to go with that rather than the team themselves. Or if we look at part 7, no, it's not that.
What I remember is a lot of these I chose the single intentionally funniest reaction image I could. And so this is an example of I just find this this image just hilarious, if I'm being honest, of just Mr. Sweet just looking genuinely shocked for his life. So obviously, not quite the professional level you may expect, not quite the actual Inazuma Kids FC, but Tail, that is comedy. That is absolute
funny.
Comedy.
Yes it is. Speaking of comedy, here's part 7. What the hell is that? Why did you put that on it?
First of all, that is an amazing close-up of Dragon Crash.
The background's great, but what's with the totally unrelated non-Inazuma green dragon?
I mean, that's just kind of there, isn't it? What is that doing there?
It would have been fine just as it was, but you felt you had to add something, and it kind of takes away from it, but I've never wanted to change it because just something in your head made you want to put that dragon in my Let's Play, so here it is.
Oh my god, that's a bold choice. That is definitely a bold choice.
I don't want to sound too negative, but trust me, the good ones are coming. They really, really are. So let's look at part 8. This was an important one. I'd even made my own custom thumbnail for this, but I got you to do one again because Occult is one of the most important episodes of the series, actually helping people get through that overly difficult match for beginners. And that's what you put together. It's got the 3 characters. I quite like it.
I think this is the perfect example of how far I've come as a graphic designer, and that if I was to do this today, make the exact same thumbnail, there would be a slight white stroke in between all of the jagged edges, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
With a bit of drop shadow on either side, just because it just kind of looks a bit sloppy overall. But Also, there must have just been... Was there not a full image of a cult that I could have just used? I think I intentionally...
The only one there is, it's like them lining up to face Ryman on the other side. And you
Yeah.
can't make out the details too well. But I can't wait to play Inazuma 11-8. That sounds like a great game.
But yeah, that's definitely... This is one where it's like, I kind of like it, and I know exactly that. This was probably one that I was proud of, but it obviously would look a lot different if made today.
I can believe it. So let's have a look at part 9 then. I love this.
This is... I know exactly what my favourite one is. This is my second favourite. By a mile.
I think it's got to be up there for me as well. Like this... when I saw this, I'm like, oh, I picked the right guy. This is just wonderful.
I cannot remember where the art is from. It's from somewhere, and there's a solid chance you might get sued in the future. But like this art it's just incredible. It's just absolutely incredible. And
let's not even dwell on it then. It's just this is one of the best. We'll let it have its moment in the sun. All right, so part 10, good standard effort.
It's just, again, like I said, there was a certain instinct in me to because for some reason I decided that given the power to choose Tale of the Toaster's thumbnails, the best thing to do was just absolutely meme on his Let's Play. And so, again, it's just a close-up of Jack Wallside with a weird emotion on his face.
I wouldn't even call that a meme, to be honest with you. Just, it was a Jack episode.
I mean, I'm more mean in terms of like the sense of, there's a lot of like reaction images in here. Like that kind of style, and this is definitely an example. It's like the Mr. Sweet one, except this one is more relevant.
It's like I've never paid that much attention to Jack's nose before, but that sure is an item.
It looks like a mouse cursor.
Yeah. All right, so part 11 is all me because it's the iconic. Yeah. We do this every single Let's Play. Like even I can edit that one. There's really no other choice, is there?
Yeah.
I also try to make sure that part 11 of the Let's Play is always kind of irrelevant. Like, I totally failed with Inazuma 11-3. That was the big waves, and I was very disappointed that part 11 had to matter.
Yeah.
But I had I'd just done a tournament thingy in part 10. It's like, oh, well, I should have done that afterwards, huh? But yeah, for Inazuma 11-1, spot on. So, but not down to Tom, so we'll just move on. Oh, my days.
And like I said...
That's what you wanted to do for part 12.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely relevant. Definitely,
it is.
It's an important image, you need to see it, but that's definitely an interesting choice of image.
So without further ado, part 13. This is another one of my absolute favourites. I think there's 3 candidates for me. There's Bobby in part 9.
Yeah.
There's Gary Lancaster in part 13. And I think there's one more that utterly gets me every single time. But this was perfection. And it's so relevant now. We should have brought this back for the charity stream.
Yeah.
The Cross River Gorilla Project. This was you making top quality gorilla content years prior. Oh, that could have been the banner for the whole thing.
It could have. This is the best. This is my favorite one. This is always the one that when I go back and look through them all, this will always make me laugh. Always.
It still gets a giggle out of me, and I'm so pleased that we were able to return the favour for the gorillas.
Exactly.
Oh, couldn't even think of that again if I tried. Alright, part 14. Well, this is a lot more relevant for you nowadays, isn't it, Tom?
Oh, absolutely. Even back then, I knew I needed to slap Nelly in as many thumbnails as possible.
He's not changed one bit, has he?
But this is yet another example of the whole reaction image thing, where my tendency was always, if there wasn't something immediate in an episode, it had to have it had to be kind of a reaction image close up. And here it's just Nelly looking slightly shocked. And honestly, I should get this image saved on my desktop.
I'll have to send you your own thumbnail back, eh, bud?
Exactly.
Right. Part 15. Oh my.
So here I started to get a bit more playing with filters. I started to have a bit of fun with filters. And as you can see, I chose I think that this is the crystallized filter, if I remember correctly. And it produced it definitely produced a result. Yeah, a result. Let's go with that.
And we'll move on to part 16, predating the Rari workout, I think.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Todd just looks so dead-eyed in it. Like, he looks genuinely angry.
He's not even on a guy's body. Jim's got the top of his head missing.
This is definitely a personal favourite just because of it. Like, thing is, you look at this and you immediately think Lightning Training Facility. And if that's not the job of a thumbnail, I don't know what is.
It's representation for characters that hadn't been in a thumb yet.
Exactly.
We do like it. Part 17.
Like I said,
this
filters.
I remember, actually, this was one where I'd already made a thumbnail that wasn't bad. Like, it was Thomas Felt in goal, doing his typical pose. And I told you specifically not to do part 17 because it was already fine. And you begged, saying, "Oh, but I've got a really good idea." And then you made it.
And I did.
And then I made it the thumbnail for the video.
And it's an amazing idea, if I'm being honest.
It's like, I didn't want this, but I couldn't argue with it the moment it arrived at my doorstep.
Why did I make this? What went through my head?
You did it a few more times, so let's move on to part 18, and this is another one of my favourites, actually. This is like top 4, maybe top 3. I still kind of use this thumbnail as a reaction image, like, because this was when Axel went to the maid cafe.
Yes.
And just had no interest in it whatsoever, and he just has this one line of dialogue, which is only the word despicable. You know what? Like, this is really, really up there for me. This gets a giggle every time.
I remember my process for doing all of these is, obviously I didn't watch your entire Let's Play in one day. So I essentially would just skim through the episode to see what happened. And like, definitely, I think this just came up in one of the skims. It just so happened I landed on this particular piece of dialogue, laughed, and was like, this has to be the thumbnail now. And
so glad you did.
I'm still very proud of this one. I think it's just, and it's just the way it's the one where, if my problem with some of the others is definitely placement of the various things, this, I think, I like the way I'd put the INAZUMA 11 logo over on the bottom of the 18 when you can still obviously see it's an 18. And I think overall it just looks nice. Like, it's also funny. Like, this is one of my favorites. It's definitely one of my favorites.
Definitely. So part 19 was me. So this is one that never changed, and it's the street sallies. So I think this is like the first time there's been anything in game in the first 19 episodes. Like, not counting the animated fire tornado from part 4 and the opening cutscene from part 1. That's the first model to be in a thumb at all. And yes, you can recognisably see the tail of the toaster cropping of the white around the logo.
It's just not good enough. I will literally go and remake these thumbnails without the white.
I won't stop you. So, part 20, that was me as well, and it is suitably awful. There's not even a gradient on the 20. That was back when I didn't know how to apply a gradient to a number. Pathetic.
I mean, I'm not sure what to say on this. It's just the grade. It's just the number just looks. Even if you go back to 19, like 19 had a whole bevel on the number, while 20 has there's just nothing there. It's like you gave up.
Yeah. So let's move on quickly. Part 21, he's playing with filters again.
Why the other Willy just chilling in the corner? I mean, this
was
obviously...
really didn't need him.
Obviously, this is the Willy episode, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say out loud, especially not on TaleOfTheToaster's channel. But the filter on everything, I really think adds to this one. I think the filter really accentuates this.
Oh, I like it. You didn't need the sprite. It would have been fine, but when is Tom ever satisfied with his work, right?
Perfect, yeah. I mean, oh my god.
Part 22, huh? Mr. Wintersea.
Like I said, close-ups of reaction images.
Close-ups of reaction images. Part 23, this is good.
Okay, right. This one really irritates me because the lens flare is so horrifically placed because I barely knew what a lens flare was. I just knew I wanted to use one, and so I love the concept of it. Really would dislike where like the lens flare is on it, and would love to remake it.
This is the kind of stuff I love hearing from doing this thumbnail recap. I think of this as one of the better ones, and you've just found a nitpick that I would have never noticed.
Like I said, I'm going to be incredibly self-critical here.
And now all the audience knows as well. Well, now it's got to change, hasn't it?
I've ruined it for them. I'm ruining this entire series for them. I feel so bad.
Sure, why not? It's like 6 years old now anyway. Part 24. That is some high quality art of Jude.
It is, on top of some
very low quality art of Celia, but it's cute. So I remember seeing that for the first time, and that's like quite an iconic image.
Yeah.
For Celia fans who want to find pictures of their favorite character, but I'd not seen that one at the time, so I was like, "Aw."
Yeah. I think it's a sweet thumbnail. It's got the whole brother sister vibe going on. Obviously, the contrast in quality is definitely something, but it's not really that much of an issue on a smaller size.
It's not that noticeable at thumbnail size, so we can forgive it.
Exactly. Overall, I quite like it.
And now part 25, that must have been me again. It's not got the white around the logo, but like I remember that image pretty vividly.
Yeah.
It's got a Tom number on the 25. I think I just gave you that picture and said, remake this, please.
I think you did. Yeah, I think you did. This one's mine because you can tell from the number because for some reason I made the numbers really close together and I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, it's terrible because Gus Martin isn't in the frame.
Yeah, and then you would have got crazy views.
Yeah, all you needed to do was shift the image that little bit more to the left and I'd be on 100k subscribers, but here we are. So, part 26, we're getting wild now.
I know for a fact there's a reason why Mark is on Shulk's head. On Shulk's body. And I know for a fact it's something to do with a line of dialogue he says.
Does he say, I'm really feeling it?
I think he does. I think he says something like that. And I decided, they'll figure it out. And slapped Mark on Shulk's head.
I know I've touched upon something in a couple of the videos. It's more of an Inazuma 2 thing, but like, Prime Minister Stuart Vanguard is voiced by the same guy that voices Shulk.
I would not have thought that hard.
I might have mentioned it in the episode, though. It would be ahead of time.
Yeah.
But maybe I was just saying, because this was like a 2015 recording, right? Maybe Shulk was already in Smash at that point, so it wouldn't have been a recent announcement, I guess. That's a mystery. Maybe if anyone wants to rewatch episode 26, please explain, because we don't know either.
Why the coach as well of all characters? I mean, I think I answered my own question there. Of course it was the coach of all characters.
To be fair, this is not the Shuriken episode. That's coming up.
Yeah.
So, for now, at 27, this is another important episode, because this is Find the Veterans. And a lot of people actually needed assistance with this point in the game.
Yeah.
For a non-match, this has got some of the most views in the series. And so, we just wanted to make it clear as day. I might have even made it myself. No, I didn't because it's got your style of numbers on it. But we didn't mess around with this one. This just had to spell out exactly what we needed.
Exactly.
And it's funny, actually, because finding the veterans is really easy because there's only 6 maps in the whole game. You've just got to pick the right one and then it starts immediately.
I mean, I guess Builder, maybe?
Builder, true. That's that takes a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit in the back.
And funnily enough, he's the one not in the thumbnail.
That's true.
But he is in part 28, admittedly upside down and covered up by a tiny logo. But that is the Fire Rooster, so that's what it needed to be.
Yeah, that's probably arguably the most basic thumbnail I made. It's just the fire rooster. It's good that I chose the in-game one and didn't do the anime one, which would have been my...
Yeah, finally, because you've not done much of that so far.
Very true, very true.
And now part 29. I think this was like my idea. I might be wrong on that, but like I'd always had that image for my version. Then you redid it. I don't know. I might have asked for that caption. It might have been you. I could be totally taking credit where I don't deserve it.
I think that might have been me.
Fair enough. I will shut up. I think, you know what? I think I might have even used this image twice. Like, what is part 30? Let me skip ahead. No,
it's
that's not.
It's Shuriken.
But maybe I used it for part 28 and 29 or something.
Yeah.
I feel like I proper overdid this image. But yeah, this is the team that the series is named after. Don't forget.
They are the Inazuma 11. It's true.
That is true. And now part 30. This is like the only image of Shuriken on the entirety of Google, and it is even lower quality than I thought.
Wow. Okay, that looks a lot better in thumbnail form.
Tell me about it. It's not. I don't think that's even the right aspect ratio. I think that's been stretched inwards.
Oh god, I don't. Yeah, that's just Let's just move on.
Yeah. 31.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. We're back to quality.
Sonny Ryman, before we had Sonny Wright. He is there with that same old filter again.
I love the filters. I really grew attached to filters during this process. Because obviously there was no real time in between making these. It was a case of finding what worked and then stretching that out until Tale told me to stop. And
I must have done at some point.
But this one I quite like. It's just simple, and so I think it does what it needs to do. It doesn't really tell you anything, but I mean, okay. Oh my god, I just saw 32. This is my least favorite one because this one there's no.
Is it?
This is by far my least favorite one. It's just Ray Dark with some red over it, and there's no. I kind of get what I was going for. I didn't just want to do a basic image of Ray Dark, and I wanted some kind of.
It's like the emergency
evil.
bunker. I liked this.
But I'm not. Yeah, I think I could have done more with this. I think this is a pretty low effort one.
I mean, there is funnier imagery out there using this exact picture of Ray Dark now, namely the trade offers that you see on Twitter with Ray Dark in the middle. But this predates that by years. I thought this was fine, but good to get the artist take on it then. As we move on to part 33, here he goes again.
This one isn't as good as the Thomas Felt one, straight up, because it doesn't have Thomas Felt's face. It's just kind of Jude smiling. But I guess my criticism would be I should have found a better picture of Jude. But I admire the attempt at something. It's better than slapping a bloody red square over it and clicking overlay. So I'll take it.
And part 34... So that was you, but it's just like an obvious image. I probably suggested it myself. That's just always going to be what it is. Part 35 is the other one, which probably goes into my top 3/4. You can't read the joke at thumbnail size by any means, but just I know that it's there, and it still makes me giggle.
That's a good point.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what's funny is, so obviously top 10 most punchable faces from WatchMojo.com. This was back when I was still doing countdowns on challenges approaching, so I very much saw WatchMojo as a rival. Do you want to look up WatchMojo in the background and see how many subs they're on right now? Because in this thumbnail, they're on 14,122,000.
That's less than I expected. 23 million. They only gained what, 9 million in 4 years? Pick up the pace, WatchMojo.
It's not happening for them, is it, lads?
It's just not happening. Obviously, because they're not making top 10 most punchable faces.
Yeah, they need to make the top 10 most punchable faces with all three of these dudes in them.
Exactly.
Part 36. This was a thing.
I kind of like... I prefer this one over the Ray Dark one. It's just meant to be old school Inazuma Break. And so on that basis, I quite like it. Because obviously I went for the old school aesthetic. Didn't quite commit to it, though I doubt you would have liked having the black and white Inazuma. If this was for my channel, I would have had a black and white. All of it would have been black and white, including the number in the logo. But I felt you would have quite morally disagreed with that.
Yeah, I think that would have been a bit of a struggle to see.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think I like the Ray Dark one more. But each to their own. Let's see, part 37. So this is just exactly what it is. Triangle Z.
Yeah, just another triangle, yeah.
Part 38. Well, Aphrodite does not want to be seen.
Hey, this is I can't tell whether or not I put that effect, like the black on top. I don't know whether or not I put that on separately. I don't think I did, because it would have been a weird thing to do. But
yeah, I thought you had, but I don't know.
I definitely feel like I can kind of remember this from the anime, and I feel like it is just kind of there normally. But I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I kind of like it. There should be a filter over it. That's what it's missing.
Maybe a red square.
Exactly.
Oh, well, part 39. I'm glad she got a chance.
That's just a good image.
Extremely high quality Sharon Evans before the series came to an end.
It also looks like the lowest quality logo somehow.
So, yeah, it's just paling in comparison to her. But there we go. I guess she had a slight role in this one. When's Mark's dad going to get in a thumbnail, eh?
Let me remake them all again, and then, yeah, he will be.
The Harry Evans thumbnail. Right, and part 40.
I hate the DS artwork.
This is a remake of one that I did. So it's a good piece of art from the credits, but it's stretched horizontally.
Yeah.
So that should be in 4:3, and it's not.
Yeah.
But it's still the right piece of art to choose. Just, yeah, I wouldn't stretch it nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's close. And then part 41 is the finale. And speaking of 4:3 images that got stretched horizontally...
Oh my god, I finally figured out what a drop shadow is.
Right at the dying nail. So this was still like 24 hours after you started. So in the grand scheme of things, it didn't take long. But series-wise, yes, it did.
This is arguably, on a technical standpoint, just for having a drop shadow and the way the text looks, this is probably the nicest looking one, if only the image in the back was higher quality and the logo had a drop shadow. But I like this one a lot. The
funny thing is, I think it does exist in a higher quality, because bit of a spoiler here for Let's Play Go Galaxy, but I'm trying to make character bios for a lot of the major recruitable characters, and the only official art of Aphrodite from the games is this image. Like, he just doesn't have anything. So I had to manually crop him out of this, and I eventually made it look good enough quality. I'll flash him up on screen here for reference. So clearly you can get a decent version of this. Not amazing. But yeah, this is another one that's applied to a video with lots and lots of views. So that is your work doing the rounds.
Get in there.
But it's not quite the final thumbnail of the series. It is your final thumbnail, Tom. Because somehow TaleOfTheToaster said, oh, you don't need to do part 42, the post-game video. It already looks fine. Does it look fine? No. No, it doesn't look fine, does it?
You didn't even apply a gradient to the text.
Did not even apply a gradient to the text, and it's literally one screenshot to give Sonny Ryman his second thumbnail of the series. This should be the Harry Evans, whether he's in the video or not.
Exactly. Just have Harry Evans with post on top and then game at the bottom, and there you go. There's the entire thumbnail. It writes itself. But
remember when INAZUMA let you cram the entire post game into one video?
Oh
and
my
then we look at Chrono Stones, where I basically dragged it out for half a year. Whoops.
And even then, like, some of the stuff in post games and secrets, I remember, because I watched it the other day, and I remember, like, some of them is definitely a bit of a stretch.
I'll have to watch it back myself then. But that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't dwell on that thumbnail itself, and just say that was every thumbnail. It feels like such a small amount when we go through it within just over half an hour. But that is why we became friends, and us becoming friends definitely led to you eventually kicking off your own INAZUMA channel, right? And
it absolutely did.
I don't want to take sole credit for that, but I mean, this guy was just doing Professor Layton Let's Plays on his own, and I'm like, you should do an INAZUMA randomizer. And he never looked back. And again, like, even the multiplayer stuff for INAZUMA 3 and Go, again, that would have never happened if you hadn't just hopped into my DMs and said, I'll do the thumbnails for you.
Absolutely. It's
we
been a
got a
very
lifelong
fun 4
friend out of
years.
this.
Been a very fun 4 years. Thank you, Tale.
So, thanks everyone for watching the 4th thumbnail recap on this channel. How do I keep doing this? We're going to end up doing one for the Inazuma Aries reviews at this rate. But obviously subscribe to TXM Tom Spoors if you haven't already, with a hyphen in there. We want to get him to 1,000 subscribers.
Thank you so much.
And I will see you in another video. Bye-bye.
Bye.